Everyone, today we will see how to terminate instances with the help of Lambda function. So sometimes what happen, like we are having certain instances which are running in across all the regions, okay, inside an AWS, and because of that some of the instances we are unable to stop them, or we are unable to search them, okay, how to stop them so that it should not be built, okay, if you are using a free tier or maybe using any regular account, right? So in that case what you can do, we can create a Lambda functions which will okay, have a snippet of code, and that once we execute that code, it will try to terminate the instances also across all the regions, right? So by just fetching, okay, certain details of the instances which are running across all the regions, okay, for that we have to create a function, right? So first what I'll do, I'll create a function, okay, which is called as instance terminate, right? Okay, now this is what our function name is. Now I'll choose a runtime environment which is called as Python, okay, and what is required for this functions to create is a role actually, because this function, the Lambda function is a Lambda service which will actually talk to the EC2 service to terminate the instances. For that it needs the permissions, right? So we can use an existing role also, or we can create a new role also. Now there is already a role which is created, which is called as a Lambda role for me. So I'll just open that role, okay, for you, just to show you what it is. Now this role is created for a trusted entity called as Lambda service, and those roles should have a permission. So what kind of permissions you can give it? So you can give EC2 instance full access permission also. Not exactly the full access is required, so you can give a permissions of describe instances, then terminate instances, and describe regions also, because that three permissions also will help you to terminate the instances also. But it's fine, like we have given, if people are not known about giving an exact permissions, that at least we can give EC2 full access permissions also. And there are certain permissions which is of an essence topic or maybe an IAMs which is already given in this role, so which is not required. But if you wanted to integrate with any other, like also okay, to connect with other services, that time this permissions you can add it later also for this role, right? But fine, so we are assuming that there is an EC2 full access permissions, that's fine. Okay, now okay, so this is what our instance which is running. So we wanted to terminate it, but based on certain schedule we can say, or based on certain events we can say. Now let's create a function first which will be triggered, okay, and we have selected a role, so I'll say create function. Okay, now the function is created. Here you can see there is a code which is a default code from your Lambda, which is hello from Lambda. Now here I'll be taking a function code of which has been written, okay, which is called as this one, something to terminate. So it has a particular steps we can say while accessing the instances and initiating the terminate actions, right? So just paste this code and we'll see. Okay, now this is what a code which we have pasted, so which will be having an event handler, and inside an event handler you can see we will be using this Boto3 library which will be having inbuilt functionality to talk to the AWS components, and there is an handlers which will be okay, initiating the actually default regions actually needed to get all the regions, okay. And then this is what a function you can say. So the method you can use regions, which will be fetching all the regions across all your EC2 okay, the service. And then we'll be initiating a loop in which we'll be checking the regions, okay, and then we are describing the instances, okay, and we are taking those value inside an instances, okay. And then instance IDs we are having okay, null value presently, and then we will collect all the instance ID, and then we'll be moving the loop inside the reservations, like the state of the instances, okay, and then inside the reservations whether it is running instances or stopped instances, it will be calculated, and then we will be appending it to the instance ID, and then afterwards by going to the instance IDs, if instance ID, then we can initiate the actions called as terminate instances across those IDs within the loop itself. So this is what the code of okay, of terminating the instances, and then there is after the termination, if it has happened, then there has to be a message, right? So I'll just deploy this function, okay. So now updating the functions, now successfully updated. Now let's create a test event. So I'll test this function. So I'll say create a new. So this is what a function is deployed, and let's see test event just to test it. So now there is one instance which is running actually, so we can check whether this Lambda function is working. So I'll say my event, and we are not passing any let's see parameter inside this JSON. Fine. And I'll say test it, just to test whether this function is actually getting executed. So we are testing it, so we are moving to the code, and let's see the output which is coming here. So there is something called as error message. So my event, so which is not saved, let me save this once again. What is the execution error? Okay, task duration actually. So I just need to go to the configuration settings, and here we should by default this function runs for a 3 seconds, so I want this functions at least to run for 5 minutes. Okay, if there are some time to be required to be executed, so we can go up to a maximum 15 minutes you can run this Lambda service. Okay, and I have updated this, and let me go with the test once again, and this is what my event is, and let's see. Save. Okay, now let's go to the code and check. So test. Okay, now the function is getting executed, and see, instance termination process completed across all the region. Now it is succeeded. Now let's go. This instance was running, so we can see that this instance in a shutting down stage. Can you see? Like, yes. So this is what we have executed this Lambda. Now, but every time if you wanted to terminate the instances across all the regions, you have to go to the Lambda manually. Okay, by clicking on a Lambda console, and then you'll have to click on a test events. What if you could schedule it, okay, within some time window, so that what will happen based on certain schedules that have been given, so automatically this will be triggering Lambda functions as a target, and this Lambda functions will run and will execute and terminate the instances on behalf of you actually. So for that we have to go to the EventBridge. So there is a service called as AWS Amazon EventBridge. So we have a scheduler also, so let's go to the EventBridge, and inside EventBridge we can also create a rule also, and inside a rule also you can, if you could click on a rule, you can see there is a schedule also you can create, or else you can create a schedule from a scheduler also. Here I am clicking on a schedule. Okay, now this is something called as based on the events you wanted to trigger something, or you wanted to make some automations, or you wanted to notify any other service, right? Now let's create a schedule. Let's see how this schedule is created. Okay, so let me create a schedule. Okay, now this is we are calling as a my schedule. Okay, inside a my schedule, okay, now there is a pattern. Now whether you wanted to create a recurring schedule, or whether you wanted to create or run a schedules for only once, right? Now to run this schedule, obviously we should have instances, okay, which are in a running state. So again I'll go to the EC2 instance part, and I'll launch a one instance very quickly. So presently one instance was running, so which was terminated, right? So there is a template from which I'll just try to launch the instance very quickly. This is what already created, and I'll say launch it. Now okay, fine, so this is successful, and you can see that there is one instance which is coming as a running one, right? Fine. So coming to the schedule, okay, here we are. So one time I wanted to schedule it, so I can start let's see from today. And what is the time? So I'll go with let's see 11:51 so we clicked on a schedule and 11:51 is the time, so for today. So I'll select the date, one time schedule, and I'll go with 11:55. Okay, so from this time it will start. Okay, and then select the window, so I wanted to run within a 5 minutes. Fine. Next, now for this schedule I would like to execute as a target with Lambda function. So let me select a Lambda and select the function. So this is what an instance terminate function is, which we have created, and then I'll say next. And again there is a one, we can say, role which will be created on behalf of this scheduler, which is automatically by AWS. And I'll go next, and I'll go with the default, that's it, and I'll create a schedule. Fine. So my schedule is created, which is of 11:55. Okay, now instance is running, so we are not going into any Lambda function. Okay, to just to make this happen. So let's see whether this schedule is created. Okay, this is what a schedule you can see. Yes, now it is created, and let's go to the instance and let's wait up to 11:55. And we'll wait for 2 minutes more. Okay, so fine. So now you can see that, yes, see this instance which we created just now getting terminated because of this schedule. So we haven't clicked on any Lambda functions to execute, and based on the schedule actually it has got terminated. Okay, so this is what you can go with the EventBridge, which will trigger, okay, certain actions, or you can say automations. And mostly we go with the Lambda because where we write a customized code actually for your automation. So that's it for today's video. Okay, and